Hey there, what's happening? This is Isai Rodriguez, host of the Destination Podcast, where I cater to the professional working man, 40 and above, who's looking to make positive changes to his health, lose weight, and become stronger overall through simple lifestyle changes. I'm here to share inspiration, tips, and proven lessons that I've personally learned and lived through in my 40 plus years on this here beautiful blue planet. So today we'll start the discussion off by talking about how BP measurements will be as simple as saying, okay Siri, take my blood pressure in our first segment. Then we'll move on to our second segment and talk about how to become a superhero in bed. Before we get into that, if you'd like to continue the conversation with me, then get on over to podcast.daspination.com/VIP to get on the VIP Insiders community where I share more entertaining, behind-the-scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger each and every day. That's podcast.daspination.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.daspination.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts or wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. Really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. And now let's move into our first segment with Healthy Conversations. So in this week's installment of Healthy Conversations, we're talking about how blood pressure measurements, or how taking your blood pressure will soon be as simple as, saying to your smartwatch or your smart device or your iPhone or Android, just saying, okay, take my blood pressure, baby. So I don't know if you heard about this or, if you're already in the know, but I came across this a few weeks back and thought, wow, this is awesome. I love it. And it's that a national survey released in late January of this year by a wearable biometrics company called Valencell revealed that 62% of Americans with hypertension only measure their blood pressure a few times a month or less than that. Now, this is important because experts recommend that, that blood pressure readings should be done twice a day. So, I mean, you don't have to be a rocket science to see that we're a little off here, These numbers are a little skewed. Now, to be totally honest, many of the doctors that I've personally spoke to have mentioned to me that they'd like me, to take my blood pressure readings at least 4 or 5 times a week. So that's just about once a day, more or less. So anyway, the survey also found that 75% of the respondents said they'd measure they'd be more than happy to measure their blood pressure more or much more, if they could accurately measure it passively. And that was the key to this whole discussion, or to this whole research study, was this concept of being able to monitor your blood pressure on a passive level. And this is actually something that I've thought of in the past. There's been times when I had to keep an eye on my blood pressure and thought, I wish there was something I could wear that would automatically check my blood pressure at random times throughout the day, Because to be honest, half the battle is simply remembering to take your pressure when you're supposed to, you get busy, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're checking your email, you're at work, it's really hard to remember, to stop and remember, I need to check my blood pressure right now. And here's the thing, this device that's engineered by this Valencell can essentially do exactly that. How beautiful is that? So the device has some next generation calibration free cuffless blood pressure technology that, funny enough, has been available for like hearing aids and other ear-based devices such as, like earbuds or, I mean, it's been available for over a year now, but now they're able to embed that same technology into devices worn on the finger and the wrist, including like, smartwatches and fitness bands and patches and pulse oximeter finger clips. So Valencell's BP technology can be built into a range of these passive form factors that can simply be worn, like in the ear or on the finger, or your wrist. How like this portability makes it significantly easier for people to actually monitor their blood pressure on a regular basis the way they're supposed to, at random intervals as it should be done, So now you have the freedom to really build potentially life-saving habits. Think about that. If the device is easy to wear and you have the data right at your fingertips, now it's just a matter of making the right decision with that data. Data is king. Like on your smartphone, if you lose your phone, it's not that bad. Let's face it, you simply buy a new phone, right? But the data that's on that phone, that's a different story. You'd be lost without your calendar, your contacts, and heaven forbid you lose your social media life. You know what I mean? That I get, maybe that's a little far-fetched or a little exaggerated, but you understand what I'm saying. This technology has the potential to really transform the way we monitor our health on a daily basis, And now the company, they're looking to get FDA clearance for their technology to help manufacturers who are essentially looking to embed the technology in their devices. So they're actually helping them move forward with the clearance process. They've got they've actually got the ball rolling with more than 100 granted patents and more than 50 patents that are pending. It's a pretty sweet technology, if I may say so myself. It doesn't need to be calibrated and only requires a minimal amount of sensor data from what's already in use by these so-called wearable devices today. Now, I have to say that the company claims it's the first commercially available embedded sensor technology that enables blood pressure readings throughout the day with the same accuracy as, your current cuff or armband devices. I mean, they really seem to be legit, I looked them up and their goal is essentially to make an impact on the global hypertension crisis. As they say, by implementing these passive devices that people will actually use on a regular basis, they're looking to make a serious dent, for a lack of better terms, on this whole hypertension crisis that we have going on, especially here in the US. We all know that hypertension itself is a silent killer. And that's because there's pretty much zero signs, other than if you're actively monitoring your blood pressure. So keep an eye out for their technology coming to a smart device near you. All right, maybe that was a little salesy. No, I'm serious, man. It's really cool. Keep an ear open for their technology. That's Valencell. And remember, the more you know, the better you'll be. And so with all that said and done, let's switch gears and move on to our second segment, Mighty Man. So hang on tight there, guys, because this is a whopper of a topic today. We're talking about how to be a superhero in bed. So guys and ladies, if you're blessing me with your beautiful ears, I want you all to listen up. Because if there's any one bedroom topic that concerns men as much as size, it's stamina. How long they can last in bed. I mean, this is a real thing, even though most men don't admit it. Me included, this is the very first time I'm owning up to it and admitting that it concerns me for a whole mess of reasons. And when you started listening to my show, I promised that I'd be unbiased, raw, and, brutally honest and open with you all. So I'm putting it out there. I'm concerned about stamina in the bedroom. It's the God honest truth. That being said, the internet is filled with solutions for those of you who feel like you don't have enough lasting power. But to be honest, there's only some of them that are worth your time and attention. Now, the question is, how can you tell which ones are worth it? Your interest, your time, and ultimately your money. Now, there's some sad news that'll crush some egos out there, so I'm gonna apologize for this in advance, and it's this. According to one study that measured the performance of just over 1,500 men, the average time a man can maintain intercourse without ejaculating is 7 minutes. And get this, men who suffer from premature ejaculation, and this is a diagnosable condition, they average 2 minutes. Again, this is tough to swallow for most men, no pun intended, and not all men who are looking to have increased stamina are diagnosed with it. So let's just put it out there and know that the treatment options are mostly all the same. But again, the question is, which ones are worth your time? So let's just get right into it. The first is biofeedback. Now, biofeedback is simply a way to train your brain to better control your body, for a lack of better terms. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So by becoming more in tune with the triggers that cause you to ejaculate too early, you may be able to better control them. So basically you learn to sense the triggers and then train your body to handle them accordingly, or the right way. This is a pretty viable solution for some men. Now, if that's not quite your thing, there's always the traditional medication. And that's the second thing, is medications. There are specific antidepressant medications that are sometimes used to treat premature ejaculation. They're known as SSRIs. And I can't remember what that stands for right now because I didn't write it down in my notes, but you can easily Google it and find out if you're truly interested. So anyway, these SSRIs like Prozac, Paxil, and Zoloft, they can delay orgasm in men, but they can also cause problems. You see, these drugs take hours before they're effective, and they can sometimes cause unwanted side effects like dizziness and drowsiness, or even ED and decreased libido. And so if you're taking notes, this is kind of the opposite thing we're trying to achieve here. You're trying to last longer, not trying to exchange that for a limp biscuit, if you will. And so here's one for you, is our third point: pelvic exercises. So pelvic exercises, also known as Kegel exercises, may be able to help men just as much as they do women. But here's what trips most people up, is that they require a consistent commitment. It's an exercise, and like with all other exercises, they work by strengthening muscle, the pubococcygeus muscle to be exact. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if that sounds right to you. But anyway, to do these Kegel exercises, what you do is that you flex the same muscle you would use to stop the flow of urine. So just pretend you've got to go for a number one and you're trying to hold it. Literally clench this muscle for 10 seconds and then release it. It's the same movement, or same exercise, or same muscle, I should say. What you're aiming for is at least 3 sets of 10 reps each day. Boom. Tell me you don't have time for this exercise or don't have weights. I'm calling you out now. And while I do that, let's zip along to the fourth tip: desensitizers. Desensitizing creams and gels work to essentially numb or lessen the sensations in a man's penis. But most of these creams also desensitize the tissues in his partner. Now, that could be a problem for female partners because, unfortunately, you're all blessed with a less sensitive genital area. Correct me if I'm wrong. Drop your thoughts into the comments right now, because obviously I ain't got that hardware, but to me it seems like you all have this natural ability to last forever. Am I right? So anyway, there's this one product that I've seen that's highly recommended that's called Promescent, that absorbs good enough so your partner isn't affected that much. Now, I haven't personally tested this myself, but I've seen and heard the name thrown around quite a bit. Let me know in the comments if you've got experience with this and what your thoughts are on it. And as you do that, I'll move on to tip number 5. This one's a doozy. Adult circumcision. Now, this is somewhat of a dramatic solution to a problem, but it is nonetheless a solution. Seriously, adult circumcision. Now, I don't think I have to explain to you what a circumcision is, so we'll forego that explanation for now. But at the end of the day, the facts are that a circumcision can desensitize the penis, period. But you have to be cautious about this approach because if it's not done right, it can actually backfire on you. So there were study results from research done back in 2011 that suggested that an incomplete circumcision can actually cause premature ejaculation. Again, this is not what we're after here. Quite the opposite, actually. So be careful with this course of action, or at least ask as many questions to your doctor as you can. If I were you, I'd write down a couple of questions or just really think about it if you were contemplating this approach, and make a list for your doctor and really have a discussion with them. So let's move on here, because that one got me a little paranoid, and I don't need any more paranoia that wasn't already baked into me as I grew up on the streets of New York, all right? So the sixth tip is weight gain. This is kind of a funny one if you ask me. I'm always preaching about dieting and supplementation and workouts and exercises and whatnot, all with the intentions of helping you lose and or maintain a healthy weight. But a recent study found that men with higher BMI lasted longer in bed than those with a lower body fat and weight. So according to the study results, as BMI increased in the participants, the number of people with premature ejaculation decreased. So basically, those who were overweight lasted an average of 7.3 minutes. Now, that being said, don't be going out and stocking up on pizza and beer and whatnot, especially just not yet, because the study was limited to about 200 men and relied on self-reporting. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, didn't I just mention that most men won't even admit to the fact that they're concerned about how long they last in bed? I mean, come on. So, a study that was based on self-reporting, that can't be too reliable, in my opinion, Plus, I don't know how I feel about putting on weight just to last a few minutes longer in bed. I don't think it's that important, but that's just me, What do you think about this? Drop a line in the comments and let me know what your thoughts are around this whole putting on weight thing. And now on the flip side, and this is where I stand mostly, is number 7 here. This 7th point is weight loss. So again, there's a lot more evidence that suggests that being overweight or obese could make your sexual stamina worse. And again, this is where I stand, So since most American men over the age of 40 are overweight or obese, and we all know that obesity, high blood pressure, and diabetes are the major causes of erectile dysfunction, then treating the underlying problem of weight might be to our benefit, don't you think? This is super hyper true for men suffering from clinical premature ejaculation or other forms of, ED. Not just those looking for an award for, bedroom performance. I've got that one locked in already. I'm joking, but this last point leads me into the next 2 points. The first being, for point number 8, what you eat. So if changing your diet allows you to lose weight, it could be worth your time and effort to do so, if for no other reason than to last longer with your partner. I don't know. That sounds like a great reason to me, a pretty good trade-off if you ask me. But there are some specific foods that can increase the amount of free testosterone in your body. This is necessary for healthy erectile functioning, aka your hard-on. So there are certain foods like fenugreek that can increase the free testosterone in your body. As a matter of fact, fenugreek itself is the source of the compounds called testosterone, which is found in many of the over-the-counter supplements. And I couldn't leave out this last tip here. While we're talking about testosterone and supplements and whatnot, is number 9, premium supplements. Yeah, I'm telling you, I can't stress this enough. Premium supplements. It goes along the same lines as what you eat. Supplements will enhance the effects effects of eating grape. So if you're adding the herb fenugreek to your diet, you can easily magnify the effectiveness of this wonder herb with a premium probiotic shake or a supplement, or simply use other supplement regimens that have been proven, like have a proven record of causing people to unleash their inner tiger in the bedroom. Actually, that's exactly how someone described it in my VIP community. They were raving about how the supplements they bought from me helped them unleash his inner tiger in the bedroom, quote unquote, and that, his wife was more than pleased with the end results. It was awesome. Yeah, I just had to get them on camera saying this for themselves, and now I use it as, as one of my testimonials. It's great. That being said, it's now on you if you want to be that superhero in bed. I've just listed out 9 different solutions for you and gave you my opinion on all of them and where I stand as far as my choices, Now it's up to you. What are you going to do? Drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you're going to do with this info. You hear? And so with all that said and done, that's it, you guys. That's my show for today. I hope you found some valuable information here, and if nothing else, I hope I've entertained you for a few minutes and was able to bring a little manly sunshine to your day. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen to me. Very much appreciated. On next week's episode, we'll be tackling the topic of how to boost your prostate health with these 6 foods. So fellas, when I say you don't want to miss out on that, I mean it, you do not want to miss out on that. And if you'd like to join the conversation with me and the community, then head on over to podcast.dastination.com/VIP to get on the VIP Insiders community, where I share even more raw behind the scenes stories, tips, and hacks that'll keep you feeling younger and younger each and every day. That's podcast.dastination.com/VIP. Again, that's podcast.dastination.com/VIP. Be in the know starting right now. Also, don't forget to rate me on Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you're listening to this episode right now. And leave me a nice, fat, juicy 5-star review and some absolutely beautiful words of why you love the show so much. It really helps me get the word out, and it's honestly the one place where your vote truly matters. Until our next chat, take care now. Bye.